Now then, Reefers, I am at Jamie's, also known as Reef and Teeth on Instagram, and I've been meaning to come and see Jamie for a while. This is Jamie. Hey. And Jamie's got an incredible man cave, which we are in now. There are some incredible freshwater fish, some incredible reef-related salty fish and corals, and obviously some other bits and bats that we're going to go through. So Jamie, thanks for having us over. I really appreciate you spending the time today to do this video with me. We've been meaning to do this for months and months now.
Yeah. We keep talking about it, yeah, but this weekend's aligned, doesn't it? So,
can you talk us through the reef tank? I mean, you've been in the hobby now, well, you've been in the hobby a long time, but...
Yeah, I mean, first reef tank I kept was over 20 years ago, and that was basically in, ironically, a dual tank, which is a tropical setup I had, which I converted, as we all sort of do.
Yeah.
Dabbled in softies for a bit, and I've had a few soft coral tanks over the years. You know what they're like, you can have your fun with them, and you learn all the sort of basics, but I said to myself, when I closed the last one down for a house move, I would never do a reef again until I could do it properly.
Yeah.
And then, lo and behold, you know, saved up a few bits and we've gone full on, really.
Yeah, go hard or go home.
Absolutely.
And this tank has actually only been running for 18 months, is that right?
17 months.
17 months, wow.
Yesterday, yeah.
And if you look at some of the corals in here, they're not frags. These are grown out. I'm assuming, Jamie, tell me if I'm wrong, but did you put them in as frags?
Started everything as frags. Part of this was, although I wanted to do it properly, I like to grow fish from small, I like to grow my corals from small, and also budgetary reasons. Buying frags and sticks is you can buy a lot more for your money than you can buying established colonies. So everything you see in there came on a frag plug.
Look at the growth.
That was one of the earlier ones I put in. That was my sort of testing the water acro.
Right.
So it's been in there for a year or so, but I mean, the growth on that is phenomenal compared to some others. See this bright green one here? That was actually called a hairy monster acro.
Yeah.
That's barely grown. That's barely done anything.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, it's an experiment.
I mean, look at the euphylly. You've got here the gold hammers.
Yeah. So those two gold hammers came as a double-headed frag.
Seriously.
And they grew and they encroached on stuff and sting stuff as they do. So I locked one in half and stuck it over there, and now I've got two large-size hammers.
How do you run this system? And have you changed anything over the years, or have you just kind of had a plan and stuck to it?
So started out. It's a full live rock based system, live rock and live sand. So I sort of spent the money up front to get the quality and sort of almost instant reef, if you like. Yeah. So I was able to start stocking it earlier than some. If you've got to wait 2 or 3 months, you know, I was further down the line from the start.
Yeah.
So it's live rock, live sand based. I run Red Sea salt, blue lid. And I started out dosing after about 6 months of setting up. I was relying on water changes, 100-litre water changes once a month at the start. And everything kept in balance. Obviously, as growth goes on, I started dosing. The Red Sea products, so the 4-part Red Sea.
Yeah.
Since about 8 months ago, I stopped using Red Sea and I've gone over to Reef's Elements. So it's just a 2-part. I'm not on pH+, just complete.
Yeah.
And I put in a bit of amino and as my ICPs tell me, a bit of fluorine and bits and bobs I need to just to top it up.
Yeah.
Dead happy with that. So easy. I found it a bit more economical than the Red Sea.
Yeah.
Red Sea was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I had loads of early growth with the Red Sea stuff, but I think Reef Elements is a bit more of a concentrated product, so I dose less for the same.
Okay, right, with you. Yeah.
So yeah, that's just what I'm at. And it's
sorry, just to interject that both the saltwater systems have run. They're all on one system. They're all
off the same sump.
From the same sump, yeah.
Frag tank came later. That's only been set up for 4 months or so.
Yeah.
It was purely for me. I like to tinker with stuff. I bought it was supposed to be a cheap project. I bought a cheap second-hand tank off Marketplace. Yeah. Because I was going to drill it. So I've drilled it myself.
Yeah.
To plumb it. I didn't want to buy a high-end, NIOS tank or anything and try and drill it and
mess about with it.
So cheap second-hand tank. It's got a few scratches, but plumbed it all in. Really happy with what I could achieve, but it stays.
I like how you've the back wall, the sides are dirty. You've just got one window into that, and that's kind of testament to you just having a tank that you can just mess about with.
That is the tank I don't show anyone. I just leave alone. So
it's yours.
Algae on the back and the sides doesn't bother me. It gives grazing opportunities because I acclimate fish in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saying that, I don't really clean the sides and the back of the main tank either. So, but I don't look.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that. So so this is your little. I'm assuming then this is hands out. This is you kind of do as little as you can with this tank.
Yeah, I'm a massive believer of the more your hands are in the water, the more unstable things are. If you leave stuff alone, it flourishes.
Yeah.
So, but being a reefer and being a gadget fan and all that sort of stuff, I like playing with stuff and tinkering.
Yeah.
So having this lets me do all that sort of stuff and keeps my hands out of the DT.
Any changes to the equipment in there? I can see you've got 2 MP40s in there.
Yeah, so I started out with just 2 MP40s and 1 Reef Wave 45.
Yep.
I've since added a further Reef Wave 25.
Yep.
Just for a bit of extra flow, and I'm probably going to put a couple of MP10s on the back at some point because although it's still nowhere near established and as grown in as I want it to be, I am noticing the flow is getting a bit restricted.
Okay. Well, obviously you've got how much growth from the corals as well.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to update the flow again at some point, and the next venture I'm putting is putting 2 more XR15s on top of the light, for lighting. So, because I am noticing now that stuff's starting to grow towards the light, and I want a better spread. But it's purely down to financials at the start. There's a massive outlay on lighting, isn't it? So,
yeah, it's a huge investment. But I mean, you can see, so you've got the 2 XR15s on the frag tank here. These are the pros? Yeah.
Yeah, XR15 Pros.
Yep.
Not blues, just straight Pros.
Yeah.
Really liked them. I was really happy with the G6 Pros, and it's just nice that I could put XR15s on and still use the same app, same lighting schedule and all that sort of stuff, you know. I'll use the AB Plus module on it as well, so it's all pre-programmed for me. I've tweaked it a little bit, but you know, it's pretty much on that. And also, because this is my frag tank and grow out tank or acclimation tank, call it what you want, it's the same as that. So when I move stuff over, there's no light shock.
Corals, So actually, have you done the power readings in both tanks and the corals getting the same amount of light delivered?
I've never done power readings, no. No, you've
maybe you don't need to.
You've out-teched me.
No. I just wondered if that's something you'd done, but if you're running them all on the same schedule.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm just running on the same schedule, so I assume they're the same. But yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
distance-wise, it's the same. So, yeah.
So all lights run on the same schedule. You can move a coral from here, like you said. You've got. I mean, I've noticed you've got a regal angel in there, which
because I'm an idiot
swimming amongst the corals. but again, I suppose. How long have you had it in there?
He's been in there 4 months.
4 months now, yeah.
Regal angel was my go-to fish, as you can see. I bought a Lego Regal angel. I've had one painted by Shezart. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I had to have a Regal angel.
So you had all that before you actually had the fish.
Yep, I've wanted one forever.
Yeah. So you thought,
rather than
I'll just
buy one and lob it in the DT, once I had this tank set up, I got AAC to source me a good sized sort of small one.
Yeah.
Trying me in there, I'm putting a few corals back and forth to see if he does have any interest in anything.
Yep.
So far, so good. I mean, he's nipped at a few zoas here and there.
Yeah.
And I've also found, which I'm actually really happy about, my green star polyp won't open. He keeps nipping the green star polyp.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm hoping is I've got a problem in my DT with purple star polyp. It's become really invasive.
Yeah, I did notice this over here on.
So I would love it if he goes in there and just hammers that. It'd be super.
So actually, he would be solving a problem by eating the polyp.
Obviously, the elephant in the room, clams.
Well, I was going to say you have some amazing clams in there, and you've got a copper band in there as well.
Yep.
So and you've just got a real angel that you're thinking of putting in.
Fish that eat clams, of course. It makes sense to put clams in your tank, right? So I've been lucky with the copper band because I've had the clams have been in here for over a year now. The 3 Derises anyway. I think if I'd have put the copper band in first and added the clams, it might have been a different story.
Yeah.
But the clams were established, and like I say, now I've got a buffer tank.
Yeah.
If I have to move stuff, I can. I'm not fussed.
Yeah.
I can enjoy those clams if those in a row on the rack in there.
Yeah.
I enjoy the clams for what they are. They don't have to be in there. So, if I have to, the thing is, it's about risk taking, isn't it?
Yeah, but you've got a contingency plan, and you've got this tank running on the same system, the same water quality.
100%.
You're not going to shock the clams. The clams will be okay, and you might get away with it.
Might do, and it might work for 6 months. It might work for 2 years, but eventually he might pick at them.
Yeah.
But I think you have to be prepared for that.
I mean, another thing to comment on, the powder blue looks really well.
Thanks, mate. Yeah,
he looks really well.
He is a work in progress, and again, I like a challenge. I love, first and foremost, regardless of the corals, I'm in this hobby for the fish. I'm a fish keeper, so the fish are what excites me. The corals are just habitat and decoration.
Yeah. Well, as we came in, we're greeted with a massive pond with you've got some koi in there that are older than me.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. I've got a couple of 27-year-old koi. But yeah, I'm a fish keeper first and foremost, and I also should say, what's the best part of the hobby being a fish keeper? Feeding the fish. So I operate pretty much a heavy in, heavy out policy on these tanks, right? So
okay,
I feed, the auto feeders on there goes off 5 times a day for pellets.
Yeah.
And I do 2 frozen feeds of an evening when I'm home. And when I feed the freshwater tank, which you'll see in a minute.
Oh, I can't wait to get onto this.
When I feed these guys mussels, prawn, sprats, I'll chop up some mussel and prawn and put it in here as well. So it's a heavy nutrient system. But would you believe I struggle with my nitrate and phosphate? I can't get them. I can't get them off the floor.
Really?
I struggle. My nitrates run at about between 5 and 6 ppm now, which I'm quite happy with.
Yeah.
Phosphates, I'm 0.03 if I'm lucky.
Seriously, and you're a heavy feeder.
Heavy feeder.
And you've got a lot of big fish in there.
Yeah, I've added fish to this tank with the sole purpose of raising my nitrates.
Wow.
That's why the anthers in there. I never had those, but they've been in there 9-10 months now.
Yeah, and they're you have to feed them quite. I'm assuming that's probably
That's
why
why
you started doing 5.
Absolutely. I wanted to get my nutrients up, but I mean, part of the reason for that is I run a light reactor, which you don't really need, but because I run that philosophy, I like to feed my fish all the time. I've got as much export as I can.
Yeah.
Down,
I totally
down
get
the
that.
Sump.
Yeah, this is a custom-made aquarium. Yeah.
Yep.
And
This is a 6 foot by 18. It's only 18-inch front to back. If I could change anything, I'd go wider. But I had the tank already, so that was one less thing I had to spend money on.
Yeah.
It's what my stingray pups were raised in. So I had the tank anyway in this room in a previous incarnation.
Yeah.
And thought, that's my reef tank. So the only thing I haven't really purposely bought for the reef was the tank itself.
So that was originally what housed these guys?
Yep, when they were smaller, my black diamond pups were all about saucer size, 3-4 inch discs.
Wow.
And they grew up in there as well as my tiger fish. As a group, they came in about 3 inches long.
I need to make sure I stick to what we're on at the minute because I really want to move over to these freshwater guys because they are stunning. So, custom-made aquarium, and it was originally for the pups of the rays.
Yep.
You've converted this into a reef aquarium. Sump, did it come with a sump when you had it made?
Yep, I ran a sump system which just had biological filtration in it. So I had about 40 kilos of alpha grog. If you know what people know what alpha grog is, we're using the freshwater side a lot.
Okay.
Just biomedia.
Yep.
And that's all I had. And obviously that was in a sump under here. Being custom made, it's quite a low tank because I sit down at my desk, I'm at chair height.
Yep.
So it's a low sump. Problem is with that,
Yep.
I don't know if you can see it through here, but it's a very low profile. So
Struggled to get a skimmer and bits and bobs in there. Yeah.
couldn't get a skimmer and a reef mat and all sorts in there. So I've had to sort of put the sump out external to the tank. I'll just pull this off. So it's a 4 foot by 15 inch sump. It
It's an aquarium.
adds a nice bit of volume to the system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the first chamber where the overflows come in.
Yeah.
I obviously get 2 overflows now because there's 2 tanks plumbed in. So
Yeah,
it's
of course,
quite
yeah.
a high turnover.
Yeah.
I've just got some red seed media baskets in there, which I put a bit of Tunsey floss in every now and then.
Yeah.
But essentially, I've left them as they are.
Yep.
First chamber it comes into is the reef mat.
Yep.
Now, I was saying about I lose a lot of nutrients. I don't actually run everything through the reef mat. I run it on its own dedicated pump. So there is a bit of bypass.
Right. Okay.
That's just power. That's all that chamber contains.
Mm-hmm.
Over into the next one, we've just got my octopus skimmer. I think it's a 150S.
Yep.
Which does a cracking job. I mean, I clean this out quite a lot because it is actually probably undersized now.
Okay.
It was spec'd to the tank before I added on the reef, the frag tank.
Yeah. This here is your
So the light
algae reactor. Yeah.
Yeah, algae light reactor with some keto in it.
And how do you run that? How often do you run that?
So that comes on as these main lights go off. So it's a reverse cycle.
Yep.
There's bits of elements of pH stability and stuff, but I just figured it's worth doing. That keto I sort of harvest maybe once a month, once every 6 weeks. Usually just bin it or give it to people that need it or want it.
It's hard to get hold of.
It is nowadays. And then I also kind of use it as a bit of a feud. Just loads of life in that. I'll shake out all the little mysid shrimps and stuff, and they'll just feed everything else. And then last chamber, I've got my rower reactor.
Yep.
Which I know I've said I struggle getting my phosphates.
I was just going to say,
but it's more there as backup for me because I feed so heavily. I figure I'd rather avoid swings.
Yeah.
So I'd rather take out more than I need and keep putting more in.
Bit of stability, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then obviously
just you.
And then the UV's my latest add-on.
Oh, so you just got this recently?
That's the new Deltec 48 watt.
Okay.
And that was purely because
How long have you had it? Sorry?
That's only been running for about a month. Maybe 2 months. That's purely because I was an idiot and bought powder blue. So we needed to put a skimmer on there, UV on there to but it's beneficial for the tanks. I've actually noticed the water clarity's got a lot crisper.
You've seen that already, yeah?
Yeah.
No. But it's definitely a good smart move if you've got a pound of blue in there.
Absolutely,
just to keep him happy. The reason I wanted to come and do this is because it's a proper example of a true hobbyist. You know, you've got the ultimate man cave, and one of the things that I really like about it in here is these. I don't want to offend you by calling them artifacts. your collection of things that, I mean, is this real?
Yeah, that's a tourist's mako head shark.
Serious?
Which I probably regret buying it now because I bought it years and years ago before I was wise to the fact that they're probably caught for that purpose of the tourist trade. But
you did zoology, yeah?
Zoology and marine zoology,
You've got a serious passion for, animals and obviously the nature and the biology of...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I still geek out and read my old university textbooks, which are all down there. So
wow, well, we're going to make our way around. I just want to I think I've spotted up here. Are these your stingray barbs?
They are. They're all the shed barbs from my stingray collection. They sort of shed them every couple of months as they grow, and I just keep hold of them as a sort of growth chart, if you like.
Shark eggs, is that?
Yeah, they're just stuff. Wow. Beach vines, bit of
I love it.
Bit of everything.
So cool. And my favourite cartoon when I was younger, Street Sharks. Gotta love it. I mean, this is. I would love to have a room like this. It's insane. These are interesting. These are real as well.
So porcupine puffers, yeah.
Wow.
Same as the sharks. I wouldn't buy them again now, but I've had them for so long.
Yeah.
They join me in the fish room. That there is a butterfly fish skeleton. Marine
is that what that is? Right.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that we're capturing exactly why I said at the beginning of the video I've been meaning to come here for so long, because Jamie, obviously when me and Jamie have been chatting, you've said you've had this Reef Aquarium set up for 18 months. You've just set up a new frag tank, which is also your tinker tank.
Mm-hmm.
And now the thing that I really wanted to do whilst we were here is show you the teeth side of Reef and Teeth. Tell me a little bit about how long you've had this. I mean, you've just said on the video earlier that you've had these raised from pups.
Yep, absolutely. So I know the breeders I've got them from. I know the dates they were born. We don't have a cake on their birthday, but I can tell you when their birthday is.
You can tell me the birthdays.
Yeah. So we've got the female pearl albino. She was born on the 26th of February 2021, and he was 25th of May 2021. They all mean something to me. They all got like a purpose. So the male was bred by a good friend of mine. This ray was bred by a really notorious stingray breeder in Nottingham, a guy called Richard Hardwick. Again, you see what I say when I say I'm a fish keeper first and foremost. This is how I got into the hobby, really. So this is called a mini marble Matoro.
Yep.
These ones are black diamonds, or traditional Leopoldi as they would be, but higher spotting.
Underneath the pattern on this one is insane. I mean, look at that.
So these ones are what we call, they're an Austrian bloodline. So where they've been captive bred for generations, people have, a bit like a pedigree dog, they've made really high-end rays out of some decent brood stock. So these ones with these belly patterns are called an Austrian bloodline, and they're a bit more of a higher-end ray.
What's it called? Do you have a name?
I don't name the fish. No,
he knows the date of birth, but don't name the fish.
I don't. We had fish with names, and when they do eventually pass on, it's saying. So Alan's gone. Neil the eel's gone.
Neil the eel. And the rest of the fish in here.
So they're called Hemiiris stormy eyes. Basically like an armoured shark catfish. They're called.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's got that shark-like profile.
It's the most shark-like looking fish you can get in the freshwater side, and they've only recently been in the hobby for about 5 years. So they're really quite a rare fish initially.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of screwed me. I did all the research I did, which was very limited because there wasn't much information on them. Said they would max out at about 18 inches.
Yeah.
I thought that's good. That could do me well in here, and I put an extra sort of gyro pump in to keep they like high flow.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's captivity or unknown info, but this one's grown to just 24 inch now, and I'm thinking, I hope you stop soon, because it's getting a bit bigger than I thought it would.
Yeah, you're gonna. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna get rid of it. You'll just pick a bigger tank.
I mean, as the rays start to breed, I might have to. You know what I mean? It's gone beyond what I thought it would. And obviously, I've got my real pride and joy is the Vitatus tigerfish.
This, I'm assuming, is the reason it's the teeth of the tank.
Yeah.
So this is a what? Sorry, Jimmy.
It's an African tigerfish. It's called a Vitatus. Hydrostinchus Vitatus.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not the Goliath one everyone sees on river monsters, it's the next size down.
Yeah.
Still a big, powerful fish in the wild, they get to sort of 3 foot and stuff, but captivity, biggest I've seen is 24 inches, and that's a behemoth for a captive.
And have you had any issues? I mean, he's armed with a good set of teeth.
Yeah, he does nip the fish on occasion, and I did have a group of 5 of them, which was perfect. The big alpha fish, because they're like a pack animal. The big one died from eating a stingray barb, I found out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unfortunately. So what happened was when the biggest dominant fish died, the 4 subordinates just started fighting for dominance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, it happened in the space of 2 weeks or so, and this is the last man standing. He killed off the 4 others.
Wow.
So I can't add any more fish to this tank, to his group. He's on his own.
Yeah.
Which is fine. They can live solitary lives.
Yeah. And what's their diet like then? How often are you feeding these guys in here? And
so I'll feed these all the anything that on your Tesco frozen fish counter: sprats, mussels, squid.
Yeah.
Lance fish, all that sort of stuff. Prawns. I've actually got some prawns today. 1 bag of prawns will be. I'd normally feed them 2 of these bags at a time.
Okay.
I didn't feed them yesterday, partly because you was coming, and partly because I had a pump failure.
I appreciate that. Well, you told me about the pump failure, which is typical, isn't it? It's we're about to do something.
Absolute timing. So we can stick some prawn in there and
let's feed the teeth.
Okay, so normally he'll probably come up and grab the first couple that go in.
Wow, yeah, he's not messing around.
But I say normally he'd eat sprats as well. So sprats, you know, size of a sprat, he'll take 2 or 3 of those in a sitting. They've all got the scent of it now. But for me, this is the best time of being a fish keeper, is feeding the fish, because you can observe them. You know, if a fish isn't feeding, you can pick up on stuff.
One thing I always do in the morning is part of my morning routine is grab a coffee and look and feed the fish and observe them by hand.
Absolutely.
I've got the auto feeders, but I just really. It is. Does anybody say that's not the best part of the hobby? Feeding the fish?
It's got to be, right?
Surely.
And since I've been doing a bit of voluntary work for AAC.
Yeah.
And they've taught me the art of fish inspection. So it literally is every morning you're staring at tanks for a good hour.
Yes.
And you're looking at not just the fish, you're looking at the flip side of the fish, the front aspects of the fish, the sides, everything, and down to the minutiae of fin imperfection.
Yeah, and that is something I would say to anybody watching that you should always do when you're buying a new fish in the store as well. Always ask to observe them feeding.
Absolutely. Any store will show you it feeding if they're happy to. But with my own fish, you know your own fish, right? So I've only got to sit there and look at it for 30 seconds. Oh, something's not right with the yellow tank. I'll pick it up straight away. And that's the thing with Instagram and stuff. Like we spoke about this off camera, that a lot of the stuff you see on Instagram is always perfect, but it's not always perfect.
Not always perfect. No way.
I've got no qualms intending people. I've just come out the side of having a spot outbreak on the powder blue.
Yep.
Fully expected it to happen because it's a live rot and live based system. No matter how quarantined it was, I've hand on heart, I've not quarantined much in my systems. It was going to happen. I've done a nice course of Reef primer, and hence now the UV on there. So, you know, I was prepared for that. And
is that the Reef Medics?
That's it. Polyp Lab.
That's the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. The message is like it doesn't always look like this. You know, just because you see a tank on YouTube with a regal angel in with clams, I'm not backing my success on that. I'm taking a risk massively.
Back to the freshwater system. So is this what got you into the hobby? Was it freshwater fish? And
yeah, when we moved into this house, I had this tank custom built. They built it on site. It was in a living room, and we had this tank before we had a sofa.
Yeah.
So that was a good one to get past the wife. But yeah, had that built in the house, and I had peacock bass and stuff in. Funny enough, the pictures behind you up there.
Some of the pictures here. So these fish, these are fish that you actually, these were your fish?
Yeah, they were my fish.
Who drew that?
Yeah, just an artist I know that actually, funny enough, painted my wife's dogs. And I said, can you do fish? She said, I've never done fish before, but she made a pretty good job of it. You talk about names, the only fish I did name was this guy. He was called Barry.
Barry.
And that's because it was Barry White.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you have that.
They're just stupid names, but yeah.
But wait a minute before you turn the light off. There's some more stuff here.
Yeah, and everywhere you look, there's stuff, right?
This looks interesting.
Yeah, that's quite a prized piece I've got. It's a part of a lion jaw.
Wow.
I've not had it too long actually, and the other part of it, it's an antique piece, and I've been led to believe it's a bullet damage that's ruined this side of it. It's quite a cool piece. I've got loads of other stuff, but that's quite a piece that stands out for me, that one.
And there's so much going on here, I might miss it, and I'm not going to dodge it. Obviously, this must be the main attraction.
That's what everyone comes to see. Everyone comes to see the guppies and the platies. Yeah.
So what's the story behind this tank?
My children kept wanting to put models of SpongeBob and Spider-Man in my fish tanks with the rays, and I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
So
I have this argument regularly.
I bought them a 100-litre tank.
Yeah.
There's another guy coming to say hello.
You good idea. Oh, is this ball python? Royal python?
Yeah, that's my son's other pet, a ball python. She's a pied female.
Wow.
This is my lemon tree. It's in the greenhouse all the time, but you have
You've got lemons in here as well.
you have to bring it in over the winter. So I've got a lemon tree.
What a room.
Pay me a visit.
And he showed me earlier, Jamie's got a book where he keeps all dates of animals that you've purchased. And
Yeah, that's just me being a geek again.
I wouldn't say so. I think it's a really cool thing that you do.
I've done it forever.
Yeah.
I've done it with my freshwater stuff. This goes back to, I'll show you when I set this tank up. That goes back to 2017 when the tank was built on site. So I just keep a record of any illnesses, fish additions, even water changes and things like that. For my water tests on this tank as well, I do ICPs.
Yeah. How often do you ICP?
Once a month I try to.
Yeah. Okay. And how often do you test yourself?
When I first set the tank up, you can probably see it was every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And that was just while everything was settling in. But
yeah,
I try and do once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. Certainly KH once a week, KH and calcium, magnesium. I do my phosphates every other week or something like that.
Yeah. But it sounds to me you've got the tank in a place now where it's been consistent.
Yeah, and exactly what I said a minute ago. You can come in and you can see your coral straight away. If something's not happy, you just notice it, and then you'll do your test and you'll find something out. But I do it very much by eye. But I do my test religiously and I log it. Same as fish additions. I know when I added the fish. I know when I've medicated. I know when I've dipped stuff.
Yeah, so you can just go back through. I think it's a really good idea.
And the good thing is when I had the powder blue issue, I went back through when I had spot in the first sort of 3 weeks, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, that took me 7 days to clear. So I use this product. So same again.
Awesome.
So it's just a memory jog.
More people need to go over and give Jamie a follow, which is Reef and Teeth on Instagram. You need to check him out. I think we've pretty much covered. We haven't covered everything. There's more stuff here. Look, I've got serious man cave envy here. So my tanks are all in the living room, which does not go down well. And I'll be back in summer.
Yeah.
Back in summer, and hopefully I'll have that beer in the sunshine.
Absolutely.
As always, it's been well seeing the fish.